think, let me speak to you from here only. So good evening, everyone. Dignitaries here in front rows and Gen Z in the back seat. It's really a privilege to be among all of you here. Actually, when SPIPA invited me for this 6th edition of Atal Memorial Lecture or Atal Vyakhyan Mala, I really feel privileged. It is really an honor to participate in Atal Lecture or Atal Vyakhyan. We all know about Sri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, our former Honorable Prime Minister of India, 9 times member of Lok Sabha, 2 times member of Rajya Sabha. And if we say that this journey of Viksit Bharat, or first wave, started during his tenure, then I think I will be right. From restructuring of public sector enterprises, renewed push on manufacturing, and who can forget the Pokhran 2 in 1998, Atmanirbharta or self-reliance in defense field. And we all are now seeing what is happening in the globe right now. It's a VUCA world, volatile, complex, uncertain, and ambiguous world. It is not a world war still, but world is certainly at war. Then, why this talk about Viksit Bharat? Were we not a Viksit Bharat in ancient times? Actually, we have a mentality that if something is stamped by the West, then we think it correct. And I would like to give you an example of a detailed research report of Professor Angus Madison. He is Emeritus Professor in University of Groningen, Netherlands, and Emeritus Fellow at Cambridge. And during his detailed research report, he has highlighted that since ancient times till 1700 AD, India had a share of around 25% consistently in the world economy. Consistently. That means that we were developed in ancient times also. If you see the examples, like we had Aryabhatta, the inventor of zero, Sushruta, the first ever plastic surgeon, Charak, who is called as father of Indian medicine. The ancient wealth of knowledge. We had the first republics. India is considered to be the mother of democracy. Vaishali, Mahajanpadas, and all those republics. We had this concept of democracy in ancient times also. Our ancient text, Indian knowledge system, is a treasure trove of wealth. I would like to recite, we all know about these management principles right now, what is being talked about in the management field, the leadership qualities, team building, and all these things. Then we had this wealth of knowledge in ancient times also. I would like to share one Sanskrit shlok with you. Amantram aksharam nasti, nasti moolam naushadam, ayogya purusho nasti, yojakas tatraturlava. Amantram aksharam nasti means there is no letter that does not contain some qualities. Nasti moolam naushadam, there is no plant that does not have some herbal qualities or medicinal values. Ayogya purusho nasti, there is no human being that does not have some qualities. But yojakas tatraturlava, that means the enabler, the manager, the leader in modern management terms, the people who see all those qualities as coordinates for the betterment of the organization to achieve the organization goals, those are rare people. And this is the quality of the leaders which the modern management principles talk about. And we had this shlok written over 2000 years back. So then, how did we degenerate? Probably a prolonged period of colonization, slavery has inflicted a damage that is not only physical but mental also. When in November 2025, our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Sri Narendra Modi, talked about complete decolonization by the year 2035. Complete decolonization is what he is trying to say. We had been independent since 1947. But then the Honorable Prime Minister has meant about decolonization completely of minds, change of mindset, changing the colonial mindset of the people, the civil services, the bureaucracy. Because it all started in 1835 by Lord Meghalai's policy, the then education policy, that has destroyed our culture, our ways of learning, our ancient knowledge system, wisdom. And he talks about of complete decolonization by 2035. That means that we have to cross a long bridge. We have to do development in so many fields so that we can be completely decolonized. Now you see in the globe, you have to take the example of, say, Venezuela. What happened with the President Maduro, the then president? So many countries like Russia, China talked at length, but nothing could be done to save him or help him. I would again like to recite one shlok with you, that Vanani dahto vahne sakha bhavati marutah, Vanani dahto vahne sakha bhavati marutah, saev deep nashaya krishe kasyaste sohridam. That means that the fire that engulfs the forest is held by the wind, but the same wind puts out a little lamp. That means that the strong get all the help, but the weaks even can't get the help also. The small little lamp could not get help from the wind. The wind has blown it away. So that's why Venezuela could not get any help. So that means that we have to be strong. When our Prime Minister talks about Atulya Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Agrani Bharat, that means that we have to develop around the corners in all walks of life. But then we have been crossing these bridges. As far as a World Bank report is concerned, over the last 10-12 years, 25 crore people in India have been taken out of extreme poverty. It is not an Indian report, but it is a World Bank report, so we have to believe it. Right now, around 25 crore students are in schools, 15 lakh schools are there, over 1 crore teachers are there. As far as Viksit Bharat is concerned, I think this journey, our dream to become a Viksit Bharat, is going to be achieved. And not by 2047, but before 2047. There are many pillars on which the dream of Viksit Bharat is based. The first and foremost, of course, is the human capital development. When we talk about human capital development, that means the people are our greatest assets. We do not see our 144 crore population as liability, but we see them as assets. The people sitting in front of me, everyone is an asset to the dream of becoming Viksit Bharat, because it is the human beings that matter. Right now, India has entered a great demographic dividend position in 2005, which is going to continue till 2055, when we will be having consistently 65% of our population in the working zone, between 15 to 55 or 59 years. So this is our greatest asset. We have to develop this human capital for the betterment of our country. And Government of India, state governments are doing a lot in this field to impart great education, great skill development to our people, like say national education policy, which talks about multi-discipline education, cross-learning. It talks earlier, like in West, USA or Europe, we see that there has been a coordination or integration of industry, academia, government, but in India, we did not have this earlier. But the national education policy talks about this. People coming from industry to teach in the educational institutions, people from government, people going from educational institution to the industry, all this cross-learning should happen, and that is the goal of this. Now, there are so many schemes like Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, at the grassroots level, PM Poshan scheme, earlier midday meal scheme, that has been a revolution as far as keeping the people or keeping the kids in the school. And due to all these things, our gross enrollment ratio has been zooming. Right now, as far as primary education is concerned, the GER is more than 90%. In secondary education also, it is around 79%. In higher education, it is 58.4%. The dropout rate has also reduced. Coming close on the heels of this human capital development, there is gender issue, like development as far as women are concerned. I say that now women's emancipation, women's empowerment, all these terms are the terms of a bygone era. Now it is the age of women-led development. Tomorrow, Women's Day is also there. My congratulations to all the participants sitting here. But then, why should we celebrate Women's Day? This should not be our motto. We should have a society where men and women are equal. There should not be a need to celebrate the Women's Day. As far as MOSPI data is concerned, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and other data also, the female participation rate in the labor force is increasing consistently. In 2017, it was 22%. Right now, it has grown more than double, around 42%. But still, as far as males participation rate is concerned, it is far below, that is 79%. So compared to 79%, 42% is a bit less. But then we have been making great progress. In the last 7 years, 1.56 crore women force has been added to the workforce. There is a need to do much more, no doubt about that, but we are on the right path. There has been a report of Kalari Capital. Kalari Capital, some of you might be knowing about that, Kalari Capital. And Kalari Capital report is titled as Rupees 4 problem. That means as far as startup fundings are concerned, then women are getting only 4% of the share, as far as high velocity industries or startups are concerned. So this is a problem here. We have to do much more in this field, but there are regulations, government is doing it. BITS, Security and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, has also mandated that at least one women director should be on the board of the companies. So it has helped a lot. And in the last 10 years, the women's participation in the board have been continuously increasing. From 5% now it is 13%. But then it is an issue, gray area, where we need to do much more. Now coming close on the heels of this human capital development. Can human capital development through education is the lone answer? I would like to recite one share with you. डिग्रियां तो तालीम के खर्चों की रसीदें हैं, डिग्रियां तो तालीम के खर्चों की रसीदें हैं, इल्म वही है जो किरदार में झलकता है, इल्म वही है जो किरदार में झलकता है. That means degrees are only for your recognition. It is the skill that defines your character. As far as the government report is concerned about the state of education in India, only 55% of graduates coming out of all these educational institutions, like engineering, management, simple graduations, diplomas, only 55% of them are employable. And if we go to private sector, those reports are alarming, that say that around 42% or only 45% of the graduates are employable. So that means we can safely assume that around half of our graduates coming out of educational institutions are unemployable. Now, how to bridge that gap? This is a great issue, this is a big issue that needs attention. And Government of India is doing its bit to address this issue. There are so many schemes around skill development, making the people employable, making the students employable. There is first and foremost Pradhan Mantri Internship Scheme, PM Internship Scheme. You might have heard about that. It is a Ministry of Corporate Affairs scheme. This talks about doing around 1 crore of internship to the children, to the graduates between the age of 18 to 24 years in the next 5 years in top 500 companies. Government of India is bearing the cost also, rupees 5,000 per month for internship and 6,000 rupees one-time grant. And this is just resulting in some good issues, some good progress. There are other schemes also, like Prime Minister Internship Scheme is trying to bridge the academic gap, like gap between academic learning and practical experiences. And for this internship is a great idea, and people should take advantage of that. Coming close on the heels of that, there are Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana or Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana, which has been a revolution in the rural areas. Under DDU GKY, there have been 17.92 crore of rural youth who have been trained till now, and around 11.64 crores have found out some employment, not only necessarily employment in companies or other enterprises, but self-employment, self-wage, other fields, etc. What our Prime Minister says about that, do not be a job chaser or job seeker, but be a job creator. One should be trying to achieving entrepreneurship so that they can create jobs for the economy. And there are schemes like Pradhan Mantri Vishwakarma scheme for artisans and craftsmanship. So there are so many things that government is doing, but people should take advantage of that. Like say My Bharat, Mera Yuva Bharat portal. That is My Bharat portal is there of Ministry of Youth Affairs, where all the schemes, all the internship opportunities and other things which can develop the students, develop the people between the age group of 15 to 29 years are in the portal, and people should take advantage of that. There is National Service Scheme, NSS. NSS is about developing the children, developing the students into leaders. They can learn the art of community awareness, community participation, team building through this volunteership program, NSS program. Some of you might have heard about that, some of you might have been doing NSS also in your college or schools. So these are some of the schemes which are doing a great deal to Indian economy as far as skill development is concerned. But then there are other areas also on which the India is progressing fast towards Viksit Bharat. That is healthcare. One big pillar of making India towards Viksit Bharat is healthcare. You would have heard about the scheme of Ayushman Bharat Digital Health Mission. In medical terminology, it is said that a patient cured is a customer lost. A patient cured is a customer lost. That means when you go to a hospital, the hospital does all the tests, keep your records, and every time you have to go to the same hospital. But then Ayushman Bharat scheme or Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana is breaking this myth. They have made this Abha ID, Ayushman Bharat Health Account. And Abha ID right now around 863 digital health IDs have been created. National Health Authority is there, NHA, which is taking care of that. that your records are transferable, your medical history is transferable. Whenever you go to use some other hospital, not the same one, you can transfer your medical record from one hospital to other hospital, so that you should not undergo all these tests again, or you should not go to the same hospital again and again. Then there are so many rural schemes like Janani Suraksha Yojana, which is helping saving the mothers as well as the infants. Balya Health Yojana. So in healthcare field, we are progressing very fast. As far as Ayushman Bharat Health Yojana is concerned, around 12 crore families are onboarded in this scheme, and about 45 crore people are taking benefits of this scheme. The scheme covers to the tune of rupees 5 lakh annually. And as per a government estimate, so far about 1.56 lakh crore rupees have been saved in remote India, rural India, through this Ayushman Bharat Health Scheme. Now, when we come to this skill development, education, human capital development, healthcare, then can this be possible without a robust internet infrastructure or digital infrastructure? Here comes our DPI, Digital Public Infrastructure. DPI has been a revolution as far as India is concerned. Coupled on Aadhaar, now around 97% of our population has Aadhaar IT. So we are progressing very fast towards one nation, one IT. And based on that, there is JAM, Jandhan, no, not Jandhan, JAM Trinity, Jandhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity, on which our UPI is based. And you all know about UPI. UPI has revolutionized the payment system for online payment system, and in 2025-26, around 230 lakh crore rupees have been transferred through UPI. Per month, around 27 billion transactions are happening as far as UPI is concerned, and more than 21 lakh crore rupees are being transferred through UPI. It has revolutionized the payment system and banking system. And UPI is not only in India, it is now in 9 countries. Our neighboring countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Mauritius, Qatar, UAE, and you can pay the fee of Eiffel Tower also through UPI right now, saving precious foreign exchange. And Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, JDY, it has revolutionized the banking system. Around 57.7 crore accounts have been opened in Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. And you would be heartening to know that in remote areas, rural areas, more than 2/3 of these accounts belong to rural women. So it has just made a great deal about financial inclusion as far as women are concerned, as far as marginalized section of the society is concerned. When our Honorable Prime Minister said in 2016 that your mobile will be your bank, then very few people would have believed it. But now it is a reality. Your mobile is your bank. Everywhere people are transacting through mobiles. So all these things have proven that people need banking and not banks. This 57.7 crore of bank accounts have been opened without opening any additional branch of the bank. And now banks have been made liable to open the banking accounts to do the financial inclusion. Earlier people had to just take round of the bank that please open my account, please open my account. But now banks are coming to you to open the account. There is DigiLocker. Some of you might be using that. Storage of our digital certificates. Then DigiYatra. DigiYatra has revolutionized as far as flying is concerned. Some of you might have been traveling through air and using DigiYatra also. Have you experienced the ease of flying through DigiYatra? Just you have to stare to the camera. सिर्फ कैमरे को आँख दिखानी है and all the doors will be open for you. Now after this ease of doing business and ease of living, it is ease of flying through the Yatra. Coupled with that, India AI Mission. India AI Mission is a rupees 10,373 crore rupees scheme that has been revolutionizing as far as computing is concerned. 38,000 GPUs have been installed, and more GPUs are being installed. Now India has the cheapest rate as far as computing is concerned. And the success of this AI Impact Summit in February in Delhi has proven that India is leader as far as emerging technologies are concerned. But then there is a word of caution for all of you, since Gen Z is here, that artificial intelligence is a double-edged sword. If you use it for your benefit, it is fine. When our Prime Minister says about AI, he says that it is not artificial intelligence, but it is aspirational India. Before this AI Impact Summit, which happened in February, one AI Action Summit took place in Paris last year, where the Prime Minister was asked by a reporter about this devastating effects of AI, that it will annihilate jobs, it will devour jobs. Then he answered that no, for me it is aspirational India. The jobs will not go away, but the nature of the jobs will change. But you have to be ready for this dynamic change. You have to be skilled, re-skilled, and upskilled. That's why skilling is so important. Skill development is so important. And I was just cautioning you about this AI, because when AI is for assistance, as far as assistance is concerned, it is fine. But when it becomes dominance, then the problem is there. I would just like to share with you one movie that came in 2025. It came in 2030, that was set in the backdrop of 2025. The name of the movie is Her, H-E-R, Her. It was directed by Spike Jonze, and it talked about one hero, the boy Theodore, who was working on his operating system 24/7, and the name of the operating system was Samantha. And he fell in love with his operating system. And when he came to know that his operating system, Samantha, was in relationship with 643 other operating systems across the globe, and she was talking to more than 8,000 other AI chatbots and operating systems across the globe, he became crestfallen. He was heartbroken. And actually these things are happening. In 2025 itself, the backdrop of the movie, McAfee did a survey where all over the world 7,000 young computer literates were interviewed, surveyed. Out of that, 2,000 were Indians also. And the response of the Indians were 61% were of the view that yes, it is possible to fall in love with your operating system of AI chatbot. So it is an alarming situation. Now, just 3 months back, there was a Japanese girl, Kano, who married her AI chatbot, which she named also, created also, named also Loon Gloss. And 6 months back, there was a Chinese girl, Sia, who also married her AI chatbot. So far, we have been listening or reading or seeing the movies that people being married to buffaloes or trees, but people married to their chatbots or operating system. You would have seen the movie of Akshay Kumar, Toilet Prem Katha, where he was married with a buffalo. But now these things are weird. And coupled on that, there has been now an AI minister also. In Albania, the Prime Minister of Albania has appointed one minister, cabinet minister of ethics, procurement, and it is an AI chatbot. The name is Diana. And he defended his move by saying that this minister does not require a salary, it does not require any paraphernalia, no MTS, no vehicle, no drivers, and she won't be irritated while answering any questions. So now these weird things are happening, and this assistance is becoming dominance. So we have to be careful about that. Since ancient times itself, we have been believing that our mind is supreme. And in fact, 200 years back, there was a French philosopher, René Descartes, whose legendary lines, some of you might be political science students also, who would have heard about that, cogito ergo sum. Has anyone heard about that? Yes, you have heard. Cogito ergo sum. That means I think, therefore I am. So, this thinking is our essence. That's why we are called human beings. Have you heard anyone saying dog being or monkey being? But we are called human beings because we have scaled the ladder of evolution. Our mind is supreme. That's why we are human beings. So, just a word of caution that this assistance should not become dominance. Now, coming back to this skill development, it is not only for the private sector or students. Government is doing its bit for capacity development or skill development of the civil servants also, to make this civil services future ready. This, you would have probably heard about Mission Karmayogi. Can anyone imagine what is the size of our civil services, our bureaucracy? Anyone? In India, if we combine the central government, state government, from chairman to lineman, our size of the bureaucracy is 2.7 crores. This is a huge number. Many countries does not have this size of population also. And to make this civil services future ready, we have to do our bit. I am not saying our civil services has been the best. People would have experienced it in the time of the COVID-19 pandemic. When COVID-19 struck, all the private sector was closed. People were making TikToks. People were making cuisines like कोई गाजर का हलवा बना रहा है, कोई कुछ बना रहा है, and people were posting on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and who were working at that time? Our civil services, our district administration, government nurses, government doctors, 24/7 they were working. That's why we would have warded off the COVID-19 pandemic. Take for example the elections. We have massive elections. We have so far 18 Lok Sabha elections. But not even a single elections have gone wrong. There has been so smooth transition of power in India. We never had a situation like Capitol Hill that happened on 6th January 2021 when Trump lost the elections since 2020. People scaled the walls of Capitol Hill, the seat of power in Washington DC. 6 people were killed also. But in India, every time, I am not just counting about the Vidhan Sabha elections or state elections or local bodies elections like panchayats or municipal corporations, but only Lok Sabha I am just depicting you. Because our elections have been largely free and fair, even the oppositions know it in the heart of their hearts that elections in India have been largely free and fair. That's why power transition is so smooth in India. But who makes this election so successful, hugely successful? It is the civil services, it is the government officers, from collection of the EVMs, fetching the EVMs, the dispatching the polling parties, taking the votes, and sealing of the EVMs, counting the votes. Everything has been done by the civil services government officers. And that's why our elections have been so successful. And to improve this skill development, to do the capacity building, government has embarked upon a very ambitious plan of Mission Karmayogi. There has been Rashtriya Karmayogi Jan Seva programs, and to make the civil services future ready, IGOT platform is their integrated government online training, where civil servants are taking courses, taking the trainings while working itself. When we talk about, I am right now standing in Sardar Patel Institute of Public Administration, and there is no reference of Sardar Patel here. Sardar Patel was the one who made this civil services so strong. Probably some of you might not have been knowing about that, but when the Constitution of India was being framed in 1946, 47 or 48, it was Sardar Patel who fought for the constitutional protection of the civil services. In Ramcharitmanas, there is a chaupai, Goswami Tulsidas writes that Sachiv Vaid Guru Teeni Jo Priya Bo Nahi Bhayas सचिव वैद गुरु तीनी जो प्रिय बोलहि भयास राज धर्म तन तीनी कर होई बेगही नास. That means Sachiv means secretary or minister, bad doctor, guru, teacher. If any one of them are lying due to some fear or some greed, then Raj Dharm Tan means the kingdom will be gone, the faith will be gone, the body will be gone, and not gone, swiftly gone, Vegahinas. With great speed, they will be gone. So that's why the civil service should be independent, and Sardar Patel fought for this constitutional protection, which you can find in the Constitution of India between Article 311 to 315, which talks about the civil services, the constitutional protection, constitutional guarantees, creation of an independent body for recruitment like Union Public Service Commission. So that's why civil services and their independence is so necessary and capacity building is so necessary, which the government is doing right now. So now coming to, we have dealt about this, there are so many pillars, but if we are just standing in or sitting in this room, we have this facility of power, energy, light, internet. How is this possible if we don't talk about energy security? India is just moving towards from energy security to energy sovereignty. And as far as just not dealing about thermal power, as far as non-fossil fuel or non-fossil power is concerned, India is scaling its peak. We are all seeing this West Asian conflict or the crisis of oil, petroleum. Then we have to take recourse about the alternative resources of energy. And right now India has the installed capacity of around 520 gigawatts of energy. Out of that, we have now more than 265 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel energy. And we have achieved this 5 years ahead of schedule. We made a commitment that we will be having the installed capacity of 50% of renewable energy, of the total energy by 2030. But we have achieved this in 2025 itself. From 3 gigawatt in 2014 of solar energy, now we have 140 gigawatts of renewable solar energy installed capacity. As far as wind energy is concerned, 54.7 gigawatts. Hydroelectricity, 54 gigawatts. And I am really pleased to just stand in Gujarat, which has been a leading institution as far as solar and wind both are concerned. Rajasthan and Gujarat both are competing neck to neck as far as solar and wind energy are concerned, of about 30 gigawatts of installed capacity both in solar energy. And Gujarat is now developing the biggest plant solar park in India, that is Khavda, which was in news also on Pakistan border. And when in full flow, it will be having 30 gigawatt of installed capacity energy. 30 gigawatt is a big sum. And coupled with Badla in Rajasthan and other areas, we are having this capacity that right now we are producing so much of solar energy that Government of India issued an advisory that our grid balance is being disturbed because solar energy has produced so much solar energy that our grid balance was disturbed last year. And Government of India issued an advisory that scale down the production of solar energy. We have now surplus energy as far as solar is concerned. And coupled with that 11,075 kilometers of coastline, we have the ultimate wind potential, wind energy potential. But then solar and wind and hydroelectricity also, all the three are intermittent. Then there has been a silent revolution as far as nuclear energy is concerned. You would have heard about or read about the Shanti Act, Sustainable Harnessing and Advancement of Nuclear Energy for Transforming India. It became an act in 2025, and which talks about the private sector investment, and it has just repealed the earlier Indian Atomic Energy Act and Civil Liability for Nuclear Damages Act. And it has paved the way for the participation of private sector as far as nuclear energy is concerned. Right now we have 8.7 gigawatt of installed capacity, but we are very ambitious as far as nuclear energy is concerned. We are aiming towards 22.5 gigawatt of installed capacity by 2032 and an ambitious target of 100 gigawatts when we attain the tag of Viksit Bharat in 2047. And for this, so many things are being done right now. In the budget also, nuclear energy mission last year budget of 20,000 crore was announced. In this budget also, there have been talks about SMRs, small modular reactors, and we have plans to establish 5 small modular reactors by 2033, scaling our nuclear energy capacity. And we have the storage of thorium. Thorium, as far as thorium is concerned, it was not usable in the nuclear reactors so far, but now we are experimenting on that in Indira Gandhi National Center of Research in Kalpakam. The thorium is being mixed with plutonium so that it can be used in the third stage of fast breeder reactor, and we have the 16% of the world reserve of thorium. And if we can devise the technology of using thorium, then we won't have to import the uranium at all. But our uranium supplies are also intact. Just some days back, Canadian PM was here, and we have signed a deal with Canada also for uninterrupted supply of uranium. So we are doing all these things for making energy security, energy sovereignty. We have National Green Hydrogen Mission. National Green Hydrogen Mission, we aim to produce 5 billion tons of green hydrogen by 2030. And for this, we are making all the efforts. And we have not forgotten our thermal power plants. Because I will just take 1 minute. I would like to share with you that मुख्तसर से जिंदगी के अजीब से अफसाने हैं, मुख्तसर से जिंदगी के अजीब से अफसाने हैं, यहाँ तीर भी चलाने हैं और परिंदे भी बचाने हैं, यहाँ तीर भी चलाने हैं और परिंदे भी बचाने हैं. Right now we are producing over 65% of our energy through thermal power plants. Our industries are based on thermal power plants. So how can we forget our huge reserves of coal or petroleum which we are importing? Actually, we are importing of our needs around 90% of petroleum, but then many people don't know that we are earning precious foreign exchange also through re-export of the petroleum products. So that's why we need this huge quantity of import of petroleum. And so we must remember that fossil fuels are not culprit in themselves. It is the carbon that they emit that is the culprit. And for this carbon emission, reduction of carbon emission, capturing the carbon, this budget has talked about that CCUS, carbon capture utilization and storage, then carbon sequestration, fly ash technologies. We are implementing all these technologies to capture the carbon, to reduce the carbon emission, increase our afforestation so that we can create a carbon sink. So we are just using our thermal power resources also to be energy sovereign. So the energy is something where our foundation of the Viksit Bharat is based. And coming on the back of energy, can we forget infrastructure? Now, Bharatmala project is there, Sagarmala project is there, ports and logistics. As far as the estimates in 2014, our logistic cost was 14%. And we have the aim of reducing it to the tune of 9% by 2030. And Government of India is making all the efforts in this direction by creating huge infrastructure. Right now, in 2014, we had a highway capacity of 91,000 kilometers, and it is 1,46,000 kilometers right now. We have created the highway corridors and the Bharatmala corridor. We have aim of 26,000 kilometers, where already 20,372 kilometers have been constructed. Rural development, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, so far around 8.78 lakh kilometer of rural road, metal roads have been constructed in the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. And PMGSY 4 talks about connecting 25,000 more inhabitations with this Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Coupled back in the port sector, our turnaround time of the ports earlier by 2014 it was 93 days. Now it has been halved to the tune of 48 days. Of course, we are a bit behind as far as developed economies are concerned. In China, like say Guangzhou port or Rotterdam port in Netherlands, the turnaround time is only to the tune of 22 hours or 24 hours. We have still a long way to go, but then we have at least half this turnaround time as far as port movements are concerned. And we are making all these efforts to cut our logistic cost. In rail network, over 99.5% of our rail network is electrified now. We have semi-high-speed trains of Vande Bharat. 68 Vande Bharat trains are running. Now Vande Bharat sleeper has also started. We are embarking upon the bullet train project from this Ahmedabad to Mumbai itself. So, as far as rail network is concerned, it is being revolutionized. The Kavach technology is being implemented for safety of the railway network. So, rail, port, roads, all these infrastructure, and then there is PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan. PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan talks about removing the silos, creating an integrated ecosystem where all the individual costs can be reduced and all the individual approvals can be reduced and can be taken care of. And through this, there has been a government estimate that over 100 lakh crore rupees of investment has come through this PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan in the last 5-6 years. So these things are taking course of India towards Viksit Bharat 2047. But then there is so many pillars like Atmanirbharta in defense. We cannot forget our defense sector. You would have seen Operation Sindhu last year and how the performance of India was there in Operation Sindhu. So it is the story of a new India as far as defense Atmanirbharta is concerned, defense self-reliance is concerned. We are now producing in India around 1.27 lakh crore of defense equipments, and we are exporting also to the tune of 23,000 crore rupees of defense equipments. We have been making deals as far as BrahMos is concerned, ammunitions is concerned, and by 2030 the goal is to create a defense network of production of around 3 lakh crore of rupees of equipments in India, make in India, and export of 50,000 crores of defense equipments. And there is BrahMos, of course, INS Vikrant, you would have heard about that. It has been produced in India. So far it is only the right now operational only aircraft carrier in India which has been produced in India, INS Vikrant. Then Tejas, of course, LCA is there. It has made some accidents, no doubt about that. But then the researches are going on, and we are hopeful that our Tejas project or Kaveri engine will be successful in that. Now coming to space sector. ISRO, the headquarters is in Ahmedabad itself, ISRO. And ISRO, the performance of ISRO has been success stories. We have Chandrayaan 3, Chandrayaan 1, 2, 3, and India is only the 4th country in the world which has landed on moon. And on the south pole of the moon, India is the first country, Vikram lander, and we have named also the Shiv Shakti point there. And not only that, we are now talking about Aditya L1, just studying the sun, Gaganyaan, and making our own space station. And not only our own space station, we are talking about making our ocean station also, deep ocean station for studying the marine ecosystem, for researching, and we are planning to have an ocean lab 6 kilometers deep in the Indian Ocean. And coming close on the heels of that, there are so many things which is helping India scaling all this new growth story, like National Semiconductor Mission to the tune of I think 76,000 crore rupees. And on 28th February itself, the Honorable Prime Minister opened this inaugurated the facility in Sanand, our first semiconductor facility in India, Sanand. And 10 more facilities of semiconductors have been planned till 2025 to the investment about 1.6 lakh crores rupees in India. So it has been a growth story. National Critical Mineral Mission. National Critical Mineral Mission is mapping our critical minerals, then opening the mining sector for tail-end mining. So far we have avoided that, but then critical minerals have been so important. We have all seen that in defense sector, space sector, EVs, everywhere critical minerals are so essential. And India, in this budget itself, Government of India has announced 4 critical mineral corridors also: Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and Kerala. And in the Andhra coast, the coastline of around 994 kilometers, it is replete with the critical minerals like molybdenum, nickel, and other critical minerals. We have seen this choking of the rare earth magnets from China, and that's why Government of India has announced this rare earth permanent magnet scheme also to the tune of 8,000 crores rupees, so that we can produce indigenously rare earth magnets which can be used in EVs and other materials, other equipments. So, coming to all these things and the development going on, right now we have become the 4th largest economy in the world, surpassing Japan with the $4.188 trillion economy. And by 2028 to 30, we would be crossing Germany also to become the 3rd largest economy in the world. And this free ration scheme of government, we are supplying free ration to the tune of 81 crore of population. 81 crore is not the population of any country in the world except China. And we have been supplying free ration to 81 crore of population. So that means that our agricultural revolution, green revolution is taking place once again. We have been producing 354 million tons of food grains annually. That is an achievement in itself, so that we can be supplying 81 crore people with free ration scheme. We have this capacity. So we have to see that how we are going to scale these hurdles, these challenges, and for this the contribution of JZ, contribution of all of you will be very necessary, because citizens are the prime assets of any country. And I would like to conclude with one, say, poem of our Rashtra Kavi Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, that सहनशीलता क्षमा दया को तभी पूजता जग है, सहनशीलता क्षमा दया को तभी पूजता जग है, बल का दर्प चमकता उसके पीछे जब जगमग है। क्षमा शोभती उस भुजंग को जिसके पास करल हो, क्षमा शोभती उस भुजंग को जिसके पास करल हो, उसको क्या जो दंतहीन विषहीन विनीत सरल हो। So that's why we have to be Atmanirbhar, we have to be strong, we have to be developed, we have to be Viksit Bharat, so that no one can stare at us. We have to achieve our past glories and become developed again, become Viksit Bharat, not by 2047, but before 2047. Thank you very much. Thank you. I am open to any questions for anyone.